My case has always been overlooked, I guess, because I've never came to a parole hearing for my own personal healing. He should never forget how he gutted me like a fish with a dinner fork. And as my 3-year-old son sat in my blood, he whispered the words, "If I can't have you, no one will."
And that is just a snippet of the mic drop from one of his survivors because he has multiple victims and we will get multiple mic drops. But before we watch this man's parole hearing, we will take a blast to the past to his 2022 hearing. Now, it's likely that you've seen it. It has 500,000 views and it's frankly impossible to forget, but I think it's worthwhile seeing it again, remembering the details of it, and then seeing his 2025 parole hearing. Again, this man was sentenced to 50 years for the horrible crimes that he committed, and yet here he is with a chance at parole. But with that, let's jump in.
This is the matter of Cornel J. Alexander. He's classified as a second felony offender. He has an eligibility date of January 30th of 2023, an adjusted good time date of May the 20th of 2048, and a full term date of January the 12th, 2051. He is currently serving a 50-year, 3-month, 13-day sentence on the charges of forcible, aggravated burglary, attempted second-degree murder, and aggravated sexual battery, which he was revoked. Is that basically all accurate, Mr. Alexander?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. Mr. Alexander, your case has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman. Mr. Freeman will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions he may have?
How old are you, Mr. Alexander?
50.
Okay, how long have you been in jail on this charge?
19 years and 10 months.
Okay, what's your education level?
12th grade.
Okay. So you completed high school?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Alexander, tell us a little bit about what happened. I mean, it looks like both of your offenses are against ex-girlfriends. Both of them are very serious and heinous crimes. I mean, what's the problem? What led to you doing these two things?
The first crime is with my girlfriend at the age of 19, 20 years old. Accidentally, I call it accidentally. I admit to that crime. And the reason why that happened because I did something I shouldn't have done. What I did was went into her underwear to grab an engagement ring. And when that happened, it cut her on her private part. The second one, 19 years ago, is with my ex-girlfriend, one I was living with, which I'm deeply sorry for that. That shouldn't have happened. I had no intention to hurt her or any form, fashion. And really what happened with that was when I admit I broke into the home to look for something very stupid, a pair of shoes, and something else that I think she might have had in the file cabinet. That's why I had the knife first and foremost. Not realizing when she came back into the home, and when I heard her, it was like, okay, I'm gonna make myself present. By that point, she asked me, why am I in her home? I got scared. I panicked. I told her. By me panicking the way I panicked, I just kind of like, now I ain't gonna say lose control. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't mean to stab the way I stabbed her in her shoulder, but after that, she seen how scared I was, gave me sort of a hug, a kiss, and I said, well, look, I'm gonna call the police. When I did call the police, man, I'm not lying. That was the worst moment I ever experienced in my life by seeing her going in that ambulance. I didn't mean nothing for none of that to happen. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
look
actually,
back here.
sir.
After she hugged you and kissed you, you raped her.
Well, that was the kind of like the wishy-washy. That's something I didn't plan on doing. But I confessed to it, sir, and I didn't know what to do. But
I
I tell
mean,
you, I can tell you this much. Back then, I was selfish, very selfish. I wasn't gonna say I was out of control. I mean, that was a person that really was my best friend, a person I used to date, person I used to live with. And to be honest with you, she did not deserve what I did. You know, till the day, it burns me. It burns me in my soul. It really does. Because from that day on, I don't think I can ever forget about that. And I can't think about that feeling that I'm gonna have, not alone her and her family, my family, for the pain I caused. It's just
okay.
something I'm gonna have to fight with for the rest of my life, hoping for forgiveness. But that pain I have that I caused that lady, Miss
Hey, all
Mason,
right, I got that. I got that. Let's move on a little bit. So you stayed in her house for 3 hours with her bleeding from where you stabbed, and you saying that this the woman was your best friend and you loved her?
yes, sir. I like I said, I was drunk. I wasn't drunk, like drunk, but I don't know. I can't explain, but I know my action towards her was very, very wrong.
Let's go back to the first case. I mean, you say you was trying to get a ring out of underwear, but I mean, according to the medical examination, I mean, you hurt this woman bad. You tore half her insides out. But you
From what I
put in her stomach.
sir,
I mean, you just didn't grab a ring. I mean, you pulled out a
it was
lot of.
it just from what I understand, it was the stone of the ring. From what I understand, when I spoke with, I think her name was Detective Paula at that time.
Okay. All right.
Which,
You said you
which
were drunk. Were you drunk on both occasions or just one?
that first one. After that, I never got in trouble behind drugs or alcohol ever since.
Okay. How much you used to drink?
Mainly on weekends, 12 pack or less.
What kind of drugs you used?
I only used cocaine one time.
Uh, have you ever had any treatment? Taken AA meetings, anything like that since you've been in prison?
Yes, sir.
Um, I think it shows you have a medical condition. What is your medical condition?
My medical condition, that's when I was falling ill. The time I got with Miss Mason. And doctors could never find out what was wrong.
Yeah, you have a pretty extensive criminal history. Um, page 35. You had a simple battery. You were put on probation, you failed to report as directed, pay your money allegations. Of course, you had the sexual battery in which you got revoked because you failed to report, tested positive for cocaine, failed to pay supervision fees, failed to attend sex offender treatment, and engage in criminal conduct by committing this offense. So you told me you only used cocaine one time. Was that the one time you tested positive?
That's the one time, sir. On that first offense,
Okay. Um, Law enforcement opposition, they're strongly opposed. The DA, the sheriff, both chief of police. Your mother is unopposed. The victim, Miss Mason, is strongly opposed. The other victim had no comment. Your criminal record goes all the way back to 1999. All of them are violent offenses. What is going to be your transition plan? Where are you going to live? Where are you going to work?
Sir, plan on hopefully living with my mom. I'll be working at Tim's Care Loan Service. That address on that is Louisiana. And that's Lafayette, Louisiana.
Okay. What classes have you completed while you've been in prison?
I completed all my sex offense class, and I also have a class that's not showing, anger management.
That's the only 2 classes you've taken in 20 years.
Yes, sir. Along with my substance abuse.
Only had 6 write-ups, which is good. Your last was in 9/14. Your static 99 is moderate, which is not good. Your medium custody. What do you think your actions, what kind of toll is that taking on your victims and their families and your family?
A big toll. A big toll. It hurts me. It hurts me to talk about it, but I have to talk about it because Ms. Mason did not deserve that. If I only listened to Ms. Mason when she used to tell me, do this, do that, if I only follow her guide, I would never be in here. My mother would, as the same as my mother, if I'd have listened to her, I wouldn't have been here. I'm deeply sorry. I wish I can turn back the hands of time. I cannot. I hope I can get peace and closure from both ends, mother, Miss Mason, her family.
About Miss Phillips, you don't say much about Miss Phillips.
My son, especially my son. Because I talk to him 2-3 times out the week. You know, like he said, Dad, because of you, because of your mistakes, you know, that's who I am today. And he's a good person, good man. He's my motivation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Freeman. Now we're going to hear from speakers we have here today. First, we'll hear from your mother, Ms. Alexander. If you would please introduce yourself, tell us what you'd like us to know about your son, Alexander. Cornel Alexander.
Okay, my name is Patsy Alexander. I'm Cornel Alexander's mother. First of all, I'm glad I'm on the Zoom with y'all. Cornel is my oldest son, and it would be a blessing that I could have him home again to be with the family. He was born in St. Martinville, Louisiana. You don't know all that already. Martinville Senior High. Played football, had track. He was a B average in school. Oh Lord, I'm nervous, excuse me.
All right. Doing good.
Sir?
You're doing well. I know you're nervous. Just go ahead and tell us what you'd like us to know about him, what you'd want us to do today.
Okay, I would like to have to let y'all know that I would be pleased and throw myself at the mercy of the court in him, that he could be pardoned for his crime, and I would like to see him. And I'm sure that he's been rehabilitated since for the amount of years that he stayed there. And so he could be home with the family. And oh my God, just forgive me. And you know, so that way we could, when he comes home, we could get him a driver's license. But first of all, register himself, do all the paperwork that he needs to have done. Get him a driver's license, find him a job, and he do have a place to stay, and then that's with me. Oh God, it's a lot of stuff that I would like to see. But most of all, I'm sure he learned from his mistake that he made.
Good. Thank you, Ms. Alexander. We appreciate your comments. Is Mr. Cornel Phillips there with you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Phillips,
Are we?
is there anything you'd like to tell us about your dad?
Yeah. Like, he been. It's been a long time, man. Been more like dang near half my life. He's been absent. I would appreciate it if I could even get that time back. I know some of the time is hard for me to even get back, but like I say, he got a lot to look forward to, man. I got a beautiful family. He had a granddaughter, grandson that come home for look forward to. Just to get that time back, even if he couldn't get it back with me, share some of those moments, even share it with his grandkids, like he's been absent for like majority of my life, like I was saying. I would like to see him come home, do well. Like the amount of times he's been going, I speak with him. He's always in good spirits, saying he's going to be on the right path. I would like to see that for myself, and being the adult that I am, and having a background of counseling and all sorts. I would just like to see it, be a witness to it. I want him to do better. I believe he can do better, for the sake of his family to look forward to. And I'd appreciate it if y'all take that into consideration and just give him the another chance, just to have their life again, just not for only himself, but for the family.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips. Appreciate your comments. Now we'll hear from Ms. Florence Mason. Ms. Mason.
Yes, I strongly believe he has no remorse. I said, because every day I live with the fact, those same words he kept telling me, if he can't have me, no one will. I have a scar. It's not my shoulder. It's above my right breast. My lungs was collapsing that day. He wasn't worried if he would leave my kids without a mother. I asked those same words in the court 19 years ago. Why did you do it? He said he had nothing to tell me at the time. He never called the ambulance. He left me bleeding. He called his mother after an hour passed. His mother came and seen him full of blood. Then she ran next door to Miss Carsley's house, which is now deceased. They called 911. Mr. Cantu and Hubert Augustine was the first on the scene. They rushed me to St. Martin first. They couldn't stabilize me, so then they rushed me to Lafayette General. After working on me for hours, for 2 days, I couldn't even wipe my own butt because my arm wasn't working. I went to therapy for 6 weeks. I thank God today that I could even use my right hand. You didn't once think if you will leave my 3 kids motherless. I would have never known that I have grandkids today that I'm there for. I feel he should do every bit of his sentence. Because I don't want no other woman to go through what I have gone through. I still have the fear of entering my home by myself sometimes because of Mr. Cornel Alexander. I had to spend money every month on a security system. When you enter your home, you just know the way you left it empty. You enter your home by yourself. Well, at least I thought I was by myself that day. I went to my stove and all I heard was a loud noise in my utility room. Till this day, that door has never been closed. I freak out if my son accidentally closes it. I was so comfortable in my house that I used to pick up my window on a sunny day. Till this day, these windows have never been up. I was so comfortable sleeping with my bedroom door open. Till this day, I have never done that.
Thank you, Ms. Mason. We appreciate your comments, ma'am. Mr. Alexander, is there anything you'd like to say before the panel votes?
Oh, yes, sir. That I'm completely and deeply sorry for the pain and hurt I caused you, Miss Mason, as well as your family.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Is panel ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freeman?
Okay, Mr. Alexander, you committed two very, very serious crimes. You've only done 20 years out of the 50-year sentence. I don't think you were totally truthful to us today, and I vote to deny.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Mr. Roche?
Mr. Alexander, good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Alexander, based upon a static 99, which is moderate, a static 99 is an instrument used to gauge whether a sex offender will reoffend, and you score in a moderate level, telling us that you have a moderate chance of reoffending. You have multiple convictions for sex offenses. The DA is strongly opposed. You have law enforcement opposition, and the victim is adamantly opposed. My vote is to deny your request.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mr. Alexander, you have two votes to deny your application today for a parole. I concur with my colleagues. You've got some more work to do. Luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, of course, I have a lot to say. I have a lot that I need to get off my chest, but I'm not going to do it because the survivors, they show up and they have a voice. So we're going to just jump straight to that. We are going to go to August of 2025 to see his next bite at the apple, to see what he's learned, to see if he suddenly learned empathy, to see if he's taken more programs, and to hear from the survivor that we hadn't heard from in the last parole hearing as well. And with that, let's jump in.
Mr. Cornel Alexander, is that your name?
Yes, sir.
And what is your DOC number?
Sir, DOC number 334717.
Okay, and we're in Baton Rouge, and you can see by our name tags who we are. We're continuing. We've had a number of hearings today, a number of them at Dixon, as a matter of fact, and we're back at Dixon. Warden, thank you once again for hosting us, and we appreciate that. Mr. Alexander, what we're going to do first is let you talk about why you're where you are and why you think you're worthy of being paroled early. Then we're going to let the warden talk about what kind of fellow you are. Then we're going to have some folks that speak on your behalf and some speak against you getting out on parole. Then we're going to ask some questions and then we're going to make our decision. So right away, let's go ahead to you, Mr. Alexander. Tell us why you're there and why you think you ought to be getting out.
I'm there because, for the simple fact, me and my ex-girlfriend Florence, I was stressed out, went to the house, got in the house, and stabbed.
Okay.
And what I should have did, instead of calling the police, I called my mom. Instead of calling my mom, I should have called the police. Truly big mistake. Long as it's stressed out listening to other people when I should have, because I knew Florence better than that.
And not on top of that, you know, it was just bad poor decision. Poor decision. Because not only I heard it Florence, I heard it my mom, because they was close friends, you know, and big, huge part of my mistake. Only reason why I can say I did it, really because it was the honest truth. I was stressed out, you know. I was illness and I ain't never talked about that on the last on the last parole board hearing. You know, I didn't speak on that, and really that was the reason why. It wasn't because I was angry or I was upset, mad with Florence or anything else. It was just, you know, me being stupid. Me being stupid. And I hope every day I pray that she forgives. Every day. Every day. Every day. I really, truly hope that she be.
Okay. All right, Warden, what kind of fellow has he been?
As far as incarceration, you know, he hadn't had a write-up since 2014, and that was a fight back then. He's a dorm rep, which every housing area has a representative that we have meetings once a month. They bring forth issues that we can talk about and things like that. So he's a dorm rep, works in the warehouse, and he doesn't give us any trouble as far as that goes.
Okay, thank you, Warden. We appreciate that. We're gonna move on to those in support, and we'll first hear from, we've got 3 people that are gonna be speaking on Zoom. We have 2 cousins and a mother. The mother's Patsy Alexander, and then Wendy Alexander and Adrian Angel are going to be speaking on behalf of you. They're all on Zoom, so we'll go straight into the mother, talking to the mother. And when we talk, let's limit your remarks to 2 to 3 minutes, which is a lot longer than it sounds. But we have a number of people that want to speak. Then we'll have some people that want to speak in opposition. So, Miss Patsy Alexander, the mother of Cornel Alexander, would you give us your thoughts on why he should be paroled?
Yes, as a matter of fact, my name is Patsy. I'm Cornel's mom. I find that Cornel showed a lot of accountability for his mistakes, for his actions, and I know he showed a lot of displayed, and oh Lord, forgive me, and compassion. And also, I feel that Cornel matured a lot since he was for the time that he spent in prison. And also, I think Cornel could have the potential and be productive as a member of the society. And I feel that I know he is so sorry about what happened and the day that it happened. And that's all I have to say.
Okay.
But I
Thank
think
you.
he could do well in society as a member of the society.
Okay. Thank you very much for your remarks. We'll move on to Wendy Alexander, her cousin. Wendy, okay, you're there. Good. Good morning.
Sorry about that. I muted automatically. My name is Wendy Alexander. Cornel is actually my second cousin. Cornel and I have always, he's actually my god brother as well. His father was my godparent and my first cousin. We've always had a very special and close relationship. He is inherently a very good person. I'm not excusing the behavior. He has made some mistakes in his life, but I do believe in redemption. I know that he is sorry for his actions. He's definitely said here that he has remorse and has apologized for his actions. And I believe that he has served his time and should have an opportunity to spend the rest of his life with his family, and so that he can be a productive member of society.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Nice words from a second cousin. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Adrian Angel. Is Miss Angel available?
I'm sorry. Yes, I am. I was trying
Okay.
to. I'm
Oh,
attracted to
thank
me
you.
myself.
Appreciate you being there. Are you a cousin or a second cousin?
I'm a first cousin of Cornel Alexander, also his big sister.
Okay.
Cornel and I have a very close relationship. And I feel that through speaking to him on on occasions, that he has a lot of remorse for what has been done. And I also feel that, through being incarcerated, that he realized that the decisions that he made in life was not the right decisions. But after being incarcerated for so many years, that he also realized that, it is consequences that you have to suffer through whenever you do things that you shouldn't be doing. I feel he has matured a lot, and he has a very supportive family, and we will be very supportive of him. And that, through maturity, he realized his actions that was done was not correct, but he will do well in society. Is my decisions, is my feelings.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you coming forward and telling us that. We'll take that into consideration also. We'll move on now to the opposition, folks that are opposed, and we'll speak to Ms. Florence Mason first. Ms. Mason, are you on the, there you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am here. I am Florence Mason. I oppose and will always oppose because Cornel Alexander, after he stabbed me, I pleaded with him when I was bleeding after that, over and over and over, to call the authorities, which he refused. He got on after stabbing me with me helpless. He got on top of me and sexually assaulted me. He did not think of my 3 minor kids, leaving them without a mom. My lungs was collapsing when he finally decided to call someone. He called his mother, which seemed like hours passed. Back then, I was going in and out. When his mom came, she screamed, "What did you do? What did you do? What did you do, Cornel? What did you do, Cornel?" She ran to the neighbor, Miss Costley, and she called 911.
All right. Well, thank you.
And also, he has never apologized for his actions. When we initially went to court, he told when Mr. Cedars asked if he would like to speak or apologize to Ms. Mason, he said he didn't have anything to say. All he could say was it didn't have nothing to do with me, but yet it was me that he did it to.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. We're sorry for whatever we can say that it occurred. Okay, we'll move on to Kelsey Mason, who is there. I assume that's Kelsey.
Yes, sir, I am Kelsey. So I am here in support of my mother, Florence Mason. I'm Kelsey Mason, and I also oppose to his release. So I was not a part of the prior hearing, but I was, asked by my mother to help assist her today. So all I could think about at that time, being a young child, so a child who was used to her mother picking her up from the daycare, with my sibling at the time, not being there that day, and me asking the questions, "Where is mom? Where is mom? Where is mom?" And my aunt at the time, who picked us up, she would not tell us until we took a short drive to Lafayette, and then she finally said. So I could not even imagine what my life would have been like losing my mom, and fast forwarding to now if I didn't have her here, and the mother that she is to us. But I do remember those days of living with my grandparents for almost a month or 2 months after the incident, living with my grandparents, and the transition of having to move out of our home because my mom didn't feel safe. Even knowing that he was incarcerated, she didn't feel safe. And even upon us finally returning home, I could remember my mother calling the victims, and I may be saying the name wrong, but the Victims Association, calling literally every single day before we would step foot in our home to make sure that he was still incarcerated. So I think the long lasting trauma of that as a child and growing into that as an adult and that being a part of like my testimony as an adult, I think that within itself is traumatic. And just my mom thinking about the outcome if he is granted, parole of, things that she has to do to feel safe mentally, emotionally, is has also caused some trauma as well. So I do thank you for allowing me to speak today and that you take our words into consideration.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate y'all coming forward. I know it's difficult, and we'll take what you had to say very seriously, and we apologize for whatever that means. I'm sorry that it occurred. Okay, we'll move on now to Tony Phillips. Mr. Phillips, are you on the? There you go. I assume, is that a Tony? Is that a man, Tony, or a
I'm a
lady?
female. I'm a female, sir.
Okay. Would you talk to us and tell us what's on your mind and why you were opposed?
Good afternoon. I am the first victim, his son's mother. My case has always been overlooked, I guess, because I've never came to a parole hearing for my own personal healing. He should never forget how he gutted me like a fish with a dinner fork. And as my 3-year-old son sat in my blood, he whispered the words, "If I can't have you, no one will." He left me for dead, and if it had not been for my younger brother, I'd still be dead today. He ripped me through my cervix, causing extensive damage to my uterus and my fallopian tubes. I was told that 19 years old, I'll never be able to forget. If I would conceive, I would never. So, 5 years later, I died faulty, out of pain, depression, pain, and I will live. I have a history with the family, and it's a good one. But I've hidden my hands for too long while my incident got overlooked. Today confirms he still has no remorse for what he's done to me and no accountability, only excuses. As you could see, he doesn't even mention it. As the last parole hearing, he didn't even mention it. Every time he was asked, he overlooked it and spoke of our son. And what's sad is our son is 36 years old and he still yearns for the love and presence of his father, who he's probably seen 6 years out of 36 inconsecutively. And what may seem as a blessing to his family to have him home may this time be a death sentence to another woman. The manipulation and the desperation of loved ones yearning for a rehabilitated man who probably will never be rehabilitated bothers me. I'm very fearful of what he can do if he gets out. I feel he will offend again, and I feel he is a threat. And I say that with every being in me because I know my son loves his father and I've never kept him from him. But today, as a certified victim advocate, I have a voice. And the very thing that tore Miss Mason and I apart now brought us together. We have been friends since the incident. And the very thing that brings us together now is him. I'm sorry if I've seemed bothered, but it hurts like hell. It hurts like the first day he did it. And it was no, I'm sorry. It was pure manipulation by family members to make me feel guilty to speak on my son's father. So today, I say it with every being in me. You need rehabilitation. You need help. Thank you, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. And again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you feel like, or that you're, I don't know, I wasn't there, but that you weren't listened to or your case was overlooked. It certainly wasn't overlooked in our notes because we all read them, read your case. I assume that's, I think it was in 1992, if I remember, a good bit before this particular case, the incident case that we're on. But we're very familiar with your case and how horrible it was. And I'm very sorry for your injuries, both physically and mentally, and those of your children. And so I just wanted to be sure to say that. Thank you for appearing before us today on Zoom. Okay, we've heard, this case is assigned to me, Mr. Alexander. We've heard people speak on your behalf, and we've heard people speak against, and having read the case thoroughly on a couple of occasions because it took that much. I've got a, I don't know if I got any questions or not. The case was, the first case was so horrible, and the second was just as horrible, but in a different way. How long did that lady stay on the floor after you stabbed her?
30 minutes, maybe an hour.
About an hour while she bled, huh? Okay. I could go on and on, but I choose not to. How long have you been in jail?
22 and a half, sir.
22 and a half? And how long was your sentence?
45.
45? Okay. I don't have any other questions.
I just want to ask classification there. Actually, we have a 50 years. Has he had pre-release?
No, ma'am. No.
No. Has he had substance abuse? Certified substance abuse treatment program?
No, I don't see anything in here. I don't see, I don't see it in my, he had sex offender treatment and health care provider treatment. Oh, I don't, it does AANA, but that's not
true. Okay.
No, yeah.
Question.
Ms. Evans?
Mine is just, first of all, I want to congratulate the survivors of your crime. Your crime was heinous, it was brutal, and it was a rape. I've never read of anything like that on here. Both of them ended up with ambulances and they had emergency surgeries. And we did hear the testimony of one of your ladies that, her injuries are lifelong. So I think you did exactly what you wanted to do that day. That's what you said you wanted to do, and that's what you did. You heard it to the max. It's a miracle that they're still alive and they feel safe as long as you're in jail. So I think that's where you need to be.
Okay, are there any other questions? No questions. I think it's time to vote, and I'll be the first to vote. And for a number of reasons, but mainly because of the seriousness of the crime, I think you ought to spend your whole time in prison. My vote is to deny.
My vote is to deny. I concur with Mr. Prater. Crimes were heinous, brutal, and you need to serve your entire years.
My vote is to concur and deny. I'm not going to say what I feel like I need to say. To and deny.
Thank you. Thank you. As of 11:52, your parole's been denied. Thank you, Warden.
Thank you. All right.
And what did I say? What statements by the survivors to hear the survivor who wouldn't speak at the first hearing, for her to lay out the facts, for her to say, but today, as a certified victim advocate, she is a victim advocate. Think about that. I have a voice And she talks about the pure manipulation by her family members that took her voice, that wouldn't let her speak out against her son's father. But she overcame that. And how many hearings have we seen where there are those in similar situations that feel pressured to not be there, that feel pressured to not have a voice? This hearing, I really feel, for me, was just that: survivors with a voice, survivors standing up against evil. We get to see that. We get to see it, hear it, and feel it. It is powerful stuff. And this is something that you can't learn about by reading it in a textbook, on a blog post, in a documentary. No, I think the only way is to see it for yourself, to see it like this. This can be a study. I don't even know these women. I feel so proud for them. And what a monster. And it goes back to how flawed the system is. He got a 50-year sentence, but he will be getting out. He will be getting out soon. Or maybe not. I have to see. Maybe his full term date is, Lady Holly has on the stats here that his full term date is 2053. But what I was going to say is that okay, I double checked, and his full term, his good time date is 2048. So he's got a lot more time left. But what I was going to say is the weak DA, that on his initial offense, the one that he was just trying to get that wedding ring. Remember that? The wedding ring, or his wedding ring caused some insanity. He was sentenced for that crime. Let me share my screen with you so I can pull up what I'm looking at here. He's 53 today. So 1/24/2005. Oh, here it is. His initial crime was 1994, the one where he gutted her. And he got a 5-year sentence because he's released in 1999. And that was considered a sexual offense. I can share that with you too. Here it is. You can see 1992-94 second degree sexual battery. And then he commits the next one in 2005. So the weak DAs felt that what he did to her when he gutted her like a fish was only severe enough to spend 5 years in prison. And then this same DA, that because they couldn't lock him up long enough, which is insane. I mean, it's insane. A violent crime like that, a sexual crime, and you get out in 5 years. And then they don't show up at either of the parole hearings. It's like they just don't care. And this thing is going to be able to come back unless legislation has changed and there's been a lot of new updates, and it's a bit unclear to me because of really how complex it is. Things are grandfathered in and whatnot. But I'm guessing he'll be back every 2 years. But these women can handle it. There's something just very monster-like about this man. If you recall in the first hearing, he could not mention one of the victims. He couldn't even acknowledge that she existed. Survivors. He couldn't even acknowledge it. Even when they brought her up, all he did was bring up his son, and they brought that up in this hearing. But it's like she's in. I mean, there's, and then he just cannot get over the lie after lie after lie, downplaying to the extreme. I mean, we have seen every type of downplay. We have seen every lie, but this one checks all the boxes. Refusing to take programs. And then you see the supporters, which are always the same. It's like it's so bizarre how supporters for monsters are always the same. They are like they have this completely blind support for someone who is clearly a monster. And if you want to, for someone who's clearly unrepentant, for someone who's clearly still dangerous, for someone who is clearly shows no flexibility of the mind to acknowledge the pain that they've caused. And they put words in his mouth that say he is sorry, he is remorseful, he wishes, and it's like, do you realize that you are not helping him? And I think it equates. We see this so often, but I do believe that they are in his ear, constantly telling him that he is a good guy, that he's right, that he's wronged by these women. I believe it has to be the case because someone has to be. He doesn't have someone telling him, "Wake up! What you did is sick. You need help." And it's good. It's for the better, really, because at least he'll stay locked up. He'll stay locked up because he'll keep doing the same thing at each parole hearing. Can you imagine him being released one day? There are states that would release him. Iowa would release him. Connecticut, I'm going to give them more credit. They won't release him in this situation. Utah might. I love this warden. His face. He has no poker face. If I had to play poker against anyone in the world, it would be this warden. I love him. I call him my favorite warden. I think he's our favorite warden. Those of you familiar, he was actually working as another warden at a different prison. Like got fired, did some sketchy stuff, and he like took over. So that's why we hadn't seen him in a while. But he's back at his place, Dixon Correction. But I don't know what else to share on this. There's so much I want to say. Both, the survivors spoke so elegantly, so profoundly, so powerfully. And I don't know. I know this is a kind of hearing I wish that I had said much more than I had, but I think they just really said it all. And so I have to say thank you, Lady Holly, and thank you, Sir Richard, for connecting the dots on these hearings. That's what makes it possible for us to follow. And if he is back in 2 years, we will cover it. It'll be in the return of playlist. And my little one just came home, so I'll take that as a note. With that, I'll let you go.
I oppose and will always oppose because Cornel Alexander, after he stabbed me, I pleaded with him when I was bleeding after that over and over and over to call the authorities, which he refused. He got on after stabbing me with me helpless. He got on top of me and sexually assaulted me. He did not think of my 3 minor kids, leaving them without a mom.
But today, as a certified victim advocate, I have a voice. And the very thing that tore Miss Mason and I apart now brought us together.